Hello everyone, and welcome to Dreamer Reviews. I'm your girl Dreamer, and I am here to what? Review for you. That's right, for you and you and you and you and you too. All right, let's get started. I was gonna wait till more people come in, but this is gonna be a part of my playback. I will be adding this later on, maybe sometime in a few days. It'll be uploaded. So I'm just gonna let everyone know, even though I do enjoy speaking with you guys, this time I will not be communicating too much. I'm gonna get through my review completely, and then after that, then we can go ahead and converse and talk and just enjoy each other's company like we normally do. All right, but right now it's really, I just need to get through the review. Okay, all right, here we go. So today's review it was actually really good. I have some comments and everything on the review. It's on the movie itself, but it was actually a really, really good movie. It is a Lifetime movie. And from my understanding, it's based on a true story, and it's called Buried Alive and Survived. And the movie is starring Eva Marcella, Tyler Lipley, and Jaden White, which are all really good actors. I really enjoyed this movie, and if you want to see it, it is on Tubi right now with ads, okay? But it is a really good movie, and it's definitely worth a watch. The running time is 1 hour and 26 minutes, and the movie came out in 2024, all right? Now, the movie starts with a jump scene, almost like with a scene that's 2 days ahead of where you mainly get a chance to watch the movie. And you see her, the lead character, who's played by Eva, and her name is Alicia in the movie. You see Alicia is buried in the ground. She's buried, and she's trying to, she's freaking out a little bit, and she's trying to dig her way out of the casket. That's right, because it's just a plywood type of board type of casket. So yeah, so she's buried down in there. And then the scene goes back 2 days before, after that, and it kind of explains and shows everything that happens. So we go back in time. Thank you everyone for coming in. Welcome. This is a review channel. I do movie, book, and anime reviews. Right now I'm doing a review and full breakdown on the movie Buried Alive and Survived. Okay, so let's get back to it. So you see her actually just living her life day to day, and she's at work. While she's at work, her friend is like, kind of comes up behind her, and she jumps, and she's scared. And she said, oh my goodness, you scared me. Don't walk up behind me. And she's like, girl, you're always scared. You need to calm down. And she's like, well, don't walk up behind, don't sneak up behind somebody, which I agree with. Like, that's a no, you know what I mean? You never know what could happen. You sneak up on somebody, and anything can happen. So she goes ahead, and her friend is talking to her, and just like, telling her she needs to get out the house sometime, that she needs to, be out and about a little bit. And Alicia is like, no, I got my responsibilities, because she does have a son. And she's like, I have to go home and go pick up my son right now. So she leaves. And once she leaves, she gets to the school to pick up her son. He's not there. So she begins to freak out a little bit, and she starts searching for him. She tries to track him via phone. It doesn't work. And she's calling him, and there is no response. And after doing all that, eventually, yeah, okay. After doing all that, eventually she's like, freaking out a little bit. she finds him and she's like flipping out on him. She's like, where were you at? I was at the school to pick you up. You're not there. What is going on? So she's like, he's like, chill, mom. I'm just hanging out with my friends. You're overdoing it. And she's like, no, I'm not overdoing it. You're being problematic. You're overdoing it. You're being problematic. It's okay. I'm just hanging out with my friends. The boy just wants to hang out with friends, and she has a very tight leash on him. So she picks him up, takes him home, and she's like really upset. And she's trying to tell him and explain to him that, look, it's dangerous out there. I don't want you just going around just, and I have no way of knowing where you are because I need to know where you are at all times. The son is like, he's like in middle school, kind of, and he's like, you know what? Hey, Haywood. He's like, in middle school. So he's like, mom, you need to chill a little bit. And the mom is not trying to hear it. So the next morning, they're getting to this argument, but the very next morning, he has a brand new pair of gym shoes that he really wanted, basketball shoes, on the counter. And he's like, oh my goodness, thank you, mom. Why'd you get me this? And she's like, oh, because, I really, I really felt bad about the argument we got into, and I don't want to argue with you. I really want you to have this. So he goes ahead and he takes the shoes, and he's so pumped and happy. And as he takes the shoes, he moves the shoes and he touches the tag. And what's inside, the inside of the tag, is an air tag. That's right. She air tagged a pair of his gym shoes. So of course the son loses it. He's like, really, mom? Is this what we're doing? I don't believe you would do this. And she's like, I just need to know where you are. Since you're cutting your phone off, this is what we're doing. And he's like, I'm not going to ever wear these shoes. I'll never wear these shoes. And I kind of get where he's coming from. But I have to say this as a side conversation real quick. There is a sense of beauty and honesty, okay? There is a beauty in being honest with your kids. I know it's not easy, but sometimes we got to be honest because sometimes we think we're protecting them and we're not when we're not being honest about every situation. I know you don't want kids. You want to protect them from grown folk situations, but not to their detriment. And not to the fact that you're actually affecting them. So she's like, listen, I know you're upset, but wear the shoes. He's like, no, he's not wearing the shoes because of the air tag in them, which I get. And she's not completely honest with him, so he doesn't know why she's taking all these precautions. She's just freaking out constantly. So she goes to work, and her friend at work is like, look, I have a cousin. I want you to meet him. I think you two will get along. And she's like, no, I'm not interested. I have responsibilities. I'm not interested in dating anyone at this time. So she's like, okay, girl, but you need to have a life too. That's right, baby boy. Mama got to have a life too. But she's still like, not going for it. She just wants to continue raising her son and continue moving in the way that she's moving. Fine. Okay. So it cuts to a different scene. And in this other scene, you see this really handsome man, very charismatic. And he pulls up to, I guess, assuming his ex-cohort and friend's house. The guy's very nervous. The guy's looking around. He's like very hesitant and scared. Come to find out, this particular guy was a guy that he did crimes with. And the man ended up going to jail for 8 years, even though he's supposed to be in jail for 15 years. But he only did 18 years because of the jail being overcrowded. So once he gets out of jail, he's, trying to get back to his buddy or cohort so that he can get the money that was hidden for him. The friend spends the money. Now, the friend knows that this guy is not well balanced up here. And you spent this man money because he said, I didn't think you would get out so quick. I was planning on, investing the money and getting your money back and then give you extra money. The guy's not trying to hear that. So he picks up a golf club and he starts, banging out windows, and he's like, you know what? Oh, that truck right there, yeah, that's mine. And he basically cleans out the guy's house, and the guy's like, come on, bro, you ain't got to do this to me. And he's like, are you for real? You spent my money. Now, my thing is this. Never, ever, 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 I don't care what situation you're in, I don't care how long that person is locked up for, you never spend the money of somebody who you know has no problem going to jail, and you know they are not mentally well. Okay? Yeah, this guy was not mentally well. Well, come to find out, the reason why she's always scared and jumpy is because that is her husband, and it's her husband that she testified against, and he went to jail, was supposed to go to jail for 15 years, but ended up only doing 8. So now he's home. He's out, and what does he want to do? He wants to find his wife and his child. So he goes ahead and finds the sister. Her sister steals her sister's phone, and after stealing the phone, he decides, you know what? Now I'm going to go ahead and get my wife and my son back. He goes to the house, and, well, I'm sorry, he didn't go to the house first. First, he went to the basketball court where the son was playing basketball. And he flags the boy down. The boy runs over. What happened to stranger danger? I mean, come on. A strange man flags you over, tells you to come here, and you run to him? I mean, come on, bruh. I mean, this boy was too old not to know why, not to be so trusting of just some random adult. But he did. So he goes over, and the ex-husband, who is, his name for the movie is Victor, who's played by Tyler, says, yeah, you want to see something? And the boy's like, yeah, sure. What? So he pulls out a photo from his wallet, and it's a photo of Alicia, Malcolm, which is the little boy, and him. And he is like, you know who that beautiful woman is? And he was like, yeah, that's my mom. He was like, that's me. Who's that little troublemaker right there? And he was like, that's me. He was like, that's right. I'm your dad. Now, Alicia has been lying to this boy and told the boy that the dad ran off years ago. Once again, it's beauty and honesty, okay? And that's what I learned years ago, but especially from this movie. Sometimes try not to tell your kids the truth because you don't want them to know the adult truth. You actually are hurting them and hindering them in the long run. I speak on it. So she's like, trying to protect him, and she's being not honest. She's lying to him, actually hurt him in the long run. So, when your kids reach a certain age, it's okay to be honest with them and tell them some adult truths, okay? Actually, it's smarter and better. And it's the reason why they say honesty is the best policy. You don't have to expose everything, but let them know why some things are the way they are. But she had this boy thinking that the dad just ran away. So now the boy done found out the truth. He's hanging out with his dad. His dad then took him home. She comes home from work, and she sees a truck in the parking lot in her parking space. So she goes up, and she's like, who's trucking in my driveway? She walks in the boy's room. Who's in the room but the ex-husband and the little boy playing video games? So as they're playing, the little boy is happy, and he's just like, oh, I finally got my dad, and I got my mom, but I got my dad. He's happy because he always wanted his dad in his life. So Alicia is not happy. She's freaking out because she's always ran from place to place because she was afraid that Victor would find them. Now he's out. She had no idea that he's out, which is weird because shouldn't she have been notified that Victor was out since she testified against him? I don't know. That's weird. But they didn't notify her. So now he's out. He's in her home with her son, and she knows how dangerous he is. The son doesn't. The son thinks, oh my dad is so cool. He just brought me this console. Isn't it really cool? And the mom is like, yeah. And she's freaking out on the inside. She steps out the room, and she's freaking out big time. The ex-husband, I'm sorry, he's not really her ex-husband. They are still currently married. They never got divorced. So he's like, he steps out And he's talking to her. And she's like, why are you here? And, she's going through all the motions because she is legitimately scared. And he's like, I'm here because I want my family back. I've changed since jail. We can work this out. And she's reminding him, you don't remember when you used to pop me around and do all kind of stuff to me? And he's like, well, I'm changed. I'm different. I'm not the same person anymore. And clearly he's not, because look at the way he went about everything he's done. He's still the same person that he was, and not pretty, okay? So he wasn't happy. You can clearly see that she wasn't happy. He felt like she wasn't happy enough to see him. Even though he knows all the stuff that she's been through and that he's put her through, he's still saying, you should be happier to see me. He pulls out this diamond necklace, bracelet, tennis bracelet that he took from his old, crime cohort, and he gives it to her. And she's like, yeah, I want you to wear that tonight. I'm taking y'all out for dinner. So she's freaking out. She goes in the bedroom. She locks herself in the bedroom, and she's trying to change clothes. She calls her sister, and she's like, hey, you remember when you said somebody stole your phone? No one's, what? She said, remember when you said you lost your phone? Well, you didn't lose your phone. Victor stole it. She's like, what? I know I didn't lose my phone. And he stole it, and he got my address, and now he is here. The sister's freaking out because she also knows how insane Victor is and that he is nothing to play with. So she goes ahead and she's like, are you okay? What are you going to do? And she's like, I'm going to leave as soon as I can. So she goes ahead, plays along, and she goes ahead, goes on this date with Victor and her son. They all go together out to dinner, and the whole time they're talking, and she's like, but as soon as the son goes to the bathroom, she's like, look, there's no chance. We will not be getting back together. She's not leading this man on one bit. She is letting him know that there is no chance on this plane of existence that me and you will be together. She's completely letting him know this. Now, I don't know why she did it the way she did, because you can kind of tell this man is not all the way there. He's not completely healed. His mental is still frayed, and he is fresh out of jail. And you know that he is disposed to extreme violence, okay? He even told the old cohort, and I thought this was a funny line. He said, you're testing my violent sobriety. What? Somebody tell you that, you know they a problem. If they say you're testing my violence sobriety, oh my goodness. No, it's time to get away from that person. But back to Alicia and the situation at dinner. She's still telling him no. And so then when the sun comes out, Victor uses the sun to still try to wiggle his way in there. Like, yeah, don't you want me and your mom to be back together? Isn't this wonderful? Don't you love it this way? And the son, he doesn't know because Alicia never told him the truth. And the son is like, yes, this is awesome. This is what I want. I've always wanted this. So the dad's like, all right, the only question left is, you want dessert? So he's buying his son dessert, and he's spoiling the son rotten. The son doesn't understand what's going on. And the son doesn't pick up the signs or the signals, which I feel like the son might be a little sheltered because of how controlling and how overbearing Alicia was. She didn't allow him to see any parts or aspects of the real world. So the son is not picking up on some of the signs that a lot of other people might pick up on, even young children. Usually their spidey senses start tingling. But the son was just such in la la land and wasn't happy that his dad was there and the mom was there. He didn't pay attention to anything. He was just enjoying himself, which I don't blame the son. I blame the mom because she, once again, was lying to the son for so many years. The son knows nothing. So he goes ahead and go back to and drop them off. And he's like, I could stay the night here and This man is handsome and very charismatic, but she knows and she remembers who he really truly is. And she keeps telling him, when we were together, I was a kid. I was 16 years old. I didn't know any better. And so then he's like, yeah, but you're still my wife. He gets upset once he realizes that her ring is missing, and he starts squeezing her hand. Sign number 1,000,000 that this man has not changed, not one bit. Okay. So she's like, okay, pushing away from him. And he's like, nah, girl, you gonna give me a hug. So he hugs her tight, and he's smelling her and all this other kind of stuff. And he's like, I'm reviewing the movie called it's called Buried Alive and Survived. It's a Lifetime movie. So he's like, really telling her, like, I want you and this, that. And she's like pushing him away. And she's like, okay, I better go in the house. So as soon as she goes in the house, he leaves back to the hotel room. She's like, go straight to her son's room. Once again, still not telling him the truth. And like, come on, we got to go. We got to go get your stuff. Let's go. He's like, what? No, dad is coming back to later on. No, I'm not going nowhere. I want to spend time with my dad. He's going all through these steps because once again, she's never told him the truth or anything of the history of her and her father or why the father's in jail or anything. The son doesn't know anything about the dad. He just knows he just met him and he seems like a really good time. So once again, he's just like, I want to be with my dad. I don't know what you're saying. I'm not going nowhere. So as Eva's like telling him, get your stuff together. I don't care what you're saying. She's packing. She's putting stuff in her truck. Okay. Sidebar for me, outside of my bank card, my wallet, my keys, I wouldn't be taking nothing. I'd be gone. Okay. The longer you linger around, the longer you have a chance for what to happen, exactly what happened. He pops up the time when she was taking the last load of items to her truck. That's right. And so as he pops out, he's like, so, you're leaving, huh? And she's like, look, I just need some space. I just need some time. It's nothing against you. He's like, oh, no, you leaving. You leaving. You think you're going to take my son away from me this time? Oh, no, sweetie, you ain't taking my son. So the son comes out and he's like, what's going on? Finally, the son is feeling something's weird. And the dad is like, going back in the house, son. He's like, okay. And so Alicia's like, no, stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We're going to leave. And so then the son is like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, the ex, Victor, he raises up his shirt and he shows his lollipop right there and says, you really want him to get hurt? You want him to get hurt? No? Then tell him to go back in the house. So she tells the son, okay, just go back in the house. I'll be in there shortly. So the son goes back in the house and he waits for his mom. As this is happening, the dad is like, come on, get in the car. We're going for a ride. She knows this is not a good situation. So she ends up back at the hotel, at Victor's hotel room. And in the hotel room, he's saying a lot of things. He's saying that he was getting help, that he was seeing a counselor, that he's on medication. And she's like, oh, you're on medication. You're getting help, the help that you need. Because he's saying, like, he started pushing up on her. And she was like, please stop, Victor, stop. And he stops. And he sees, the old me wouldn't have stopped. The old me would have kept on going. That's how you know I changed. And so then it just tells her about how he was getting help that he needed and that he was taking medication. So she's like thinking, oh man, okay, is he really taking medication? He's like, I used to, but I stopped. So now she's realizing, okay, this man is off his meds and he is crashing completely out. So she's worried. So at one point he gets her in the bathroom and he grips her up and there is glass that was broken. So she takes the glass and she slices him right there. Okay? Which for me, I don't get. You know this man better than anybody else. You know what he's capable of. You had a clear advantage and opportunity to nick him where it really counts. Okay? There's a couple of places we know where the arteries are. She had an opportunity to get him good and get up out of there, but she didn't. So, so I digress. All right. So he puts her in the truck and he takes a ride with her. She's tied up. She's worried. She's scared. But the whole time she's scared more for her son than anybody else. And so then he gets her to an empty field and he puts her in the ground. As he's leaving, he runs into the owner of the property, and the guy comes out the truck and he's like, "What are you doing on my property?" They go back and forth. The owner has a big lollipop and he doesn't have anything at the time except his little small one on his body. So him and the owner are going back and forth, and he's like, "Hey man, I got lost. I didn't know where I was at." The owner's like, "No, you're on my property. Let's go back there and see what you was doing." So when the owner was looking around, he grabbed a different lollipop and he upside the owner's head, and the owner was laid out. Okay. So once the owner was laid out, he was just like, didn't know, he didn't stop. He kept going, kept going, kept going until the owner of the property was out of here. Okay. So now we get to the next scene. He gets back to the house and he tells the son, "Me and you were going out of town. Your mom left." Says, "Me and you were going out of town. Your mom left us both. So, this is what's going to happen. Me and you were going to leave together." And he's like, "No, where's my mom?" Now, the boy really starting to feel something weird is going on because he knows there's no way in the world his mom would just up and leave him. He knows his mom wouldn't just up and leave him. However, this is what she did. This is what he's saying that she did. So he tells the boy to get his stuff. The boy's kind of hesitant, and he's like, "Go in there, don't give me no lip, and go get the stuff." So the boy's trying to go in. As it's happening, before the dad comes, the aunt comes, the girl's sister comes, and she's like saying to him, "Where's your mom? I'm worried about your mom." He's like, "I don't know. She's not answering the phone. I don't have her phone. I don't know what's going on." So then she says, "Get your stuff. Let's leave." And he's like, "Get my stuff for what? My dad is on the way." She's like, "Your dad is dangerous. I'm worried about your mom. I don't know what's going on. We need to leave now." And so eventually he's like, "What's going on?" The father comes in. He sees the aunt. Him and the aunt gets into it and he hits her. She falls to the floor and she's knocked out. At this point, the son completely sees that what the mom was saying about your dad is dangerous was absolutely true. So the son is like, "Why would you hit my aunt? Where's my mom?" This, that, and third. The son fully knows that something really did happen to his mom and that his dad is not telling the honest truth. So the dad eventually gets the son into the truck and they're driving. Meanwhile, Alicia is still buried, but she's digging her way out. This girl's digging her way out, which is good because it was a plywood box and it started raining heavy. Of course, water started filling inside the box. So she was digging her way out. Eventually, she gets completely out the box and she is on her way out and she's trying to survive. She gets up and she makes it out. And that's when she stumbles on the owner of the property. And she says a little silent prayer, like, "I'm so sorry for you. And she gets in his truck and she takes the truck and she leaves and she's rushing to find her son. She goes back to the house. She doesn't go back directly to the house because she knows that the dad is gone already. So she goes back to her friend's house, the one who was encouraging her to get out. And she tells her friend exactly what's going on, tells her the truth. And now the friend understands why she's always so jumpy and standoffish and why she did not want to go out on any dates. So the friend is trying to help her, like, "Girl, you got to call the cops." And she's like, "No, girl, I'm not about to call no cops because as soon as he get a whiff of the cops, my son is going to be in danger." So she's like, "Okay, I get it, but you have to do something. You have to figure something out." And she's like, we got to, get the cops. So she uses her phone and she calls. She was like, yeah, that's why I got that weird text. And the ex-husband thought that the name Joe was a man, but really was a woman, and was texting her weird stuff like, get lost, I found the real man now, all this weird stuff. And so then she said, he was texting you. So she takes the phone, she calls the number. So the Victor answers the phone, her husband answers the phone, and he's like, hello. And she's like, where's my son? And he's like, Alicia? He was like, you got out? You should have stayed buried. And she's like, where is my son? So the son's like, that's my mom. That's my mom. Let me talk to her. So the dad puts the mom on the phone, and the boy's like, Mom, where are you at? Are you okay? And the mother's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. And so then the boy says, Mom, I got on them gym shoes that you gave me. I'm so sorry for being upset and not wanting the shoes. Thank you so much. I got on the shoes that you gave me. The shoes with the air tag in them. Exactly. So she knows. First she was confused because of, brain fog, everything that's going on. But then it dawned on her, she realized what he was saying. He was saying, you can track me because I got the air tag on me. So the dad snatches the phone and he destroys the phone, and they get in the truck and they leave. While they're in the truck and they're leaving, Alicia begins to try to track them. So they go and sit down and eat somewhere at a diner. While they're at the diner, the boy starts drawing with crayons, and dad was like, you too old to be drawing with crayons. He was like, I just want to put my artwork up there. And he was like, oh, all right. So as the boy's drawing and the dad was turning around talking to the waitress, the boy writes, help me on the back of the drawing. And so when the waitress came back over, he tried to give it to the waitress. And of course, the dad was onto it and he snatched the paper. He was like, no, I'm going to keep this. This is going to be my first picture I'm put on a refrigerator. And then he flips it over. He was like, you think I'm a fool? That's your mom type stuff. You got too much of your mom in you. Yeah, he went there. He went there. So after that happened, they go ahead and leave. And the dad is very upset. And you kind of hear him escalating a little bit, but not too much. He's very upset. So the dad is very upset because he feels like the son betrayed him just that quickly. And the son is basically in survival mode. So he is not trying to, really trigger his dad too much, but he's trying to get away from his father, which makes sense, right? So as the young man is doing this, and the mom, she is tracking them. She finds out the tracking tag information. She tracks them. She hops in a car and she takes off and she starts following them. So once she tries to catch up to them, and that's when everything kind of comes to full circle. They get to fighting, and she actually pulls the weapon, the lollipop that the husband had, and she get him. Now, sidebar, a little bit of advice, okay, for those who don't know how to use certain lollipops, okay? If you got the strength and you're trying to get away, after you nick them, you twist it and then you pull it, okay? You don't just and leave and run. No. You twist, pull. Maybe I shouldn't be telling people that. I'm just talking about for self-defense, okay? I think I'll cut that out later. Yeah. Okay, 34. I told my son cut that out. Yeah, maybe I should be talking about that. Anyways, anywho, back to what we were talking about. So she goes ahead and she's running. He has that lollipop and he popping all over the place at her. Bow, 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 bow. So she's taking off because she know that this man wants to lay her low 6 feet under the floor, okay? So the son is tied up in the truck and he's trying to escape. She ends up in a church, and the ex-husband, or I'm sorry, the current husband is in there. He's looking for her. He's popping throughout the church. She has one of them heavy candle holders and she's holding on. And eventually they come, eventually they go ahead and come to a point where she's like, trying to hit him. And, he goes ahead and try to pop her. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because he already exposed, he already, popped everything out. So nothing happens. And so then next thing you know, he's talking to her. He's like, you know, maybe our life trajectory would have been different if I'd have took that job, but I didn't. And she's sitting here like, you know, no, you didn't. And you know, she didn't really say much. He's like, he hears the sirens in the background. Once he hears the sirens, he's like, you know what? I see you next time, or I see you in the next life, or something like that. And he goes out there, even though the weapon is empty, he goes out there and aims it at the police, and he knows what's going to happen. So he ends up getting a lollipop out of here. Yeah. And just then, the son runs up, and he sees his mom coming out. He runs up to his mom. He looks down, and he sees his dad is out of here. And he's like, oh my goodness, is he out of here? And the mom's like, don't look at that. So the last scene actually almost kind of bring things back full circle when you see Alicia is getting ready for a date. That's right. The person that Joe was initially trying to hook her up with, she decides that she's going to go on a date with him. Now, mind you, this is a jump months ahead. She goes out and dates. She's looking beautiful because, let's be honest, Eva's face card could never be denied. Let's be honest. She is gorgeous from top to bottom, always have been and always will be, and aging very gracefully, if I do say so myself. Okay. The gentleman that comes in is who takes her out, comes with flowers, representing himself very nicely, extremely handsome, okay, and looking good. I have to say, everybody in this movie was gorgeous. So it's eye candy for everybody, for the boys and the girls. Eye candy all over the place. I have to say that. But this was a serious movie, and I believe that it was based on a true story. If so, oh my goodness, that is some serious survival skills. And kudos to that woman for being able to overcome what she overcame. That movie was something serious, okay? I have to say, it was a wonderful movie. Acting was phenomenal. It is free on Tubi, okay? Let me get back to it so I can tell you once again about the movie so that we can, okay, once again, the movie is called Buried Alive and Survived. It came out in 2024. The running time is 1 hour and 26 minutes. It is on Tubi, so you can watch it for free. And it's starring Eva Marcella, Tyler Lepley, and Jaden White. All right. And it is an awesome movie. Action-packed. And, you know, survival skills top tier. You know, yeah, I offered a couple suggestions, but that's more a person just seeing from the outside. Don't necessarily know what you're going to do when you're in the middle of it, unless you've already had certain survival skills or you've already taken some of these type of classes and courses, which a lot of people take. I'm going to say people, not just women, because there's men who's been abused too. A lot of people end up taking after surviving situations like that or living through horrific situations. But I'm definitely glad that her and the younger man got out of it. So sad that the owner of the forest, you know, got, you know, and it was a wonderful movie. So that is my movie review for Buried and Survived. I hope you enjoyed it today.